First of all, I'm a huge Captain
I
America
just
fan.
said, love your shirt.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I have a ton of these Captain America shirts. One of my favorite characters, and I can't wait for audiences to experience this show. Now, with expectations set so high for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because of its lineage to the Captain America and Winter Soldier franchise, and this is debuting right after the groundbreaking WandaVision. What aspects of storytelling did you want to focus on to set this series apart?
Well, it starts with it started at the end of Endgame, right? That was the inciting incident, as it were, to begin to kick off this series. And so we get to now, and we of course saw that years ago, but so we get to go on that ride, and that it's really is Sam going to take on that shield? And what is it for a Black man to take on that shield? What is it for the Black community? What is it for the white community? It's a very iconic kind of classic white symbol. And it has been done some maybe not such good things. So he has to really go on a journey of deciding, is that for him or not? And is it relevant or not?
Absolutely.
We also talk a lot about, nationalism. We talk about what is a hero. He has to come to terms with the new hero versus, what was the paradigm of the old hero, which is really from the 40s and 50s. And Bucky has to figure out whether his own relevance, because he's 108 years old, so, and the world has changed, and how does he go forward? And he's got guilt issues because he has done some collateral damage, and he has to face that. And we don't usually get to see that in any entertainment, let alone the MCU. So we go on some wonderful journeys that and have really interesting discussions, all while having, serving the Marvel ironic humor and the fantastic action sequences. And we really get inside these characters.
Now, what makes Captain America as a title so important to the Marvel Universe?
Well, I think, he kind of kicked it off. So he's the sort of an anchor to the whole, he's the thin edge to the wedge, I suppose, from early, very early days. And he defined, I guess, kind of defined for its time, he defined what a hero was in a form, in a comic form, obviously. But there was some sense of that. And so what makes this so exciting, this story to tell, is we're really looking at that and saying, does that make sense anymore?
Sure. Now, you've become a master of speaking to the socio-political and what-if aspects in your projects. Will Sharon Carter be a character you speak through this season? If not, who is that character that you're kind of eyeing to kind of speak through?
Well, I think I'm speaking in terms of the socio-political of it, all of the characters, actually. And as it unwinds, you will find that conversation comes out of everybody's mouth, because it's super relevant today and super important that we talk about what's going on currently. Each character has their lane in that same big conversation. Certainly, I think the core of it is really Sam and Bucky, because they're both figuring out their future path, but they're also very conscious of what the shield was or wasn't, could be or isn't, and what that looks like. So I think partly because they're the core of the story, but so it really is a broad spectrum, I suppose. It really is about, by the end of it, it all adds up.
Now, were there any particular movies or television series that you used as inspiration when bringing this show to life?
Well, we didn't really, I look at a lot of shows. I look at a really broad spectrum. I look at everything from David Lean to Lena Wertmüller to, I look at really unique and very arty, spectrum. But then we also looked a lot at the buddy cop movies in that paradigm, because we were capturing, the 48 Hours of it, the Lethal Weapon of it. So we definitely looked at those kinds of relationship movies. I would like to think that with all of that, we really stirred the pot and came up with something that really is unique and has its own signature. So, you know, fingers crossed, that's how the fans see it.
I'm loving it so far. Now, one of the most fascinating shows in recent time has been Watchmen because it blends real life African-American history with sci-fi and comic book movie tropes. Do you think that there might be a similar opportunity to tell that kind of a story with the Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Well, yes. I mean, we are in the arena of telling a real world, you know, a real world story. We embrace Black history. We embrace, you know, the commentary that they made alongside, you know, what we are making. So, yes, and yes. I think it's we are all opening very interesting conversations by these shows and these series.
I'm so excited to explore Sam and Bucky some more because in a 2-hour film, there's only so much story you can fit in there. Now, yeah, we've never really addressed their backstories, Sam and Bucky, at least. We've never really addressed their backstories. Can you talk to me a little bit about how this series and the audience might perceive them after this show?
After the show?
Well, or during the process and the journey of the show, I really should say.
Yeah, okay. Because after, I don't know, but I can say that through the journey, you know, what is great is it was 6 hours. I call it the meal. You know, if the movie is a snack, this is the meal. Sure. And we get to savor the characters. We get to know them. We get to be inside their heads, and we get to go on. You know, we grow with them because we have the time to be there. We don't have to race from A to B. And we are, without the time pressure, we are allowed to, you know, sit with some of the stories of their life. We get to meet Sam's family. We get to find out more about Bucky and what he's doing, how he's trying to heal himself if he can. We're not sure. So I think what's going to happen is we're going to really fall in love with them and fall into. We're going to really root for them. Because we've come to know them, not just as people who can do extraordinary things, but really people who are extraordinary people. And that, to me, is new for the MCU.
Now, WandaVision was really about exploring Wanda's grief and evolving the Scarlet Witch and setting up the multiverse in the film franchise. What is this setting up? Are we? Do you think we could be heading towards another movie, a Captain America movie, or another team, or will there be a defined Captain America by the end of this series?
You know, I think this is going to set up all kinds of surprises. And all I can say is what you might think you know or what you might think is going to happen, you'll be surprised.
Now, how much time has passed since Endgame and the beginning of this series?
Well, we blipped back, right? So we just blipped back. And then we are about 3 to 4 months after the blip back.
Okay. And the last question I have for you is that the Sokovia Accords have been felt throughout the whole MCU. We've had Wanda dealing with it with Sword, Peter Parker on the run. Will this be like the Sokovia Accords? Will this be subtly in the show? And would we be dealing with Sam and Bucky kind of dealing with the ramifications of that after the blip as well?
I think the Sokovia Accords were so impactful that the world is the world post the accord. So you're always kind of dealing with it, or it's always part of a conversation.
Okay.
You know, it's yeah, I guess, but not. It's just part of their history.
Well, amazing! I can't wait to see this show unfold. I'm a huge Cap, Falcon, Winter Soldier fan. Thank you so much for your time, Kari. I appreciate it.